Today's video has been put together to help you keep your head when you're leading a race. Race drivers, this is Enzo with the Race Driver Coach Show from a hotel room. Not at work. I'm actually on holiday. Can you believe that? We've got summer break. Motorsport World's on this summer break. If you're an F1 fan, you know it's not on for about 3 race weekends. I've got a week off before going to Snetterton with the F4s, British F4. So we took these 4 days, thought, right, we're just going to leave everything behind. We've gone off to south of Spain, actually. I'll just show you out the window. This is our view. It's beautiful. I love the sea. If you know me, I live in Bournemouth in the south of England, and the reason we moved there was because of the sea. So, first lesson, have a break. But to get on today's topic, I had a few questions of people, and obviously drivers in the past that have had this issue, and we've worked on it and combated it, even myself actually when I was driving. But it's when you're in a position in a race, maybe you're P1, maybe you're starting the race in P1. And what happens all too often is the drivers, they let the pressure get to them. They underperform, they worry, they're full of fear, they feel like they can't even hang on to the car, they're checking the mirrors too much, they just don't feel confident when they're leading the field, when the pack is behind them, chasing them down. And that's the way you see it, right, sometimes, and it all becomes too much. The amazing qualifying lap that you did that got you near the front, you can't even drive like that if you tried, because you're too distracted by being in the lead and what that means to you. And then your emotions run wild. It's very, very, very common. But it's also, if you are suffering from this, if these are the kind of things that you go through on a regular basis and you think every time I get near the front, I either self-sabotage or I'll make a mistake or I worry and I'm just not myself and I'm not free and I don't flow, then I want you to take this upon you now as a big sign that you have not mastered your emotions. And I want you to start to do that in normal life. Not just expect to be this person who doesn't care about failure, who's all about executing and destroying the opposition when you're on track all of a sudden, but you're not that person anywhere else in life. You don't know how to switch from one emotion to another. I want you to master your mind in such a way that when you're in the lead, this is my goal, when you're in the lead, you're strong. You're there to finish the job. You're there to do 3 qualifying laps, then look up, see where everything is. And if it's good enough, you're going to still be in the lead. If it's not, someone's going to have overtaken you, but you can get them back. But it is a common problem. So there's just a few pointers here because this is the kind of area that you've got to work with somebody one-on-one to get the truth, because they may have certain fears linked to their identity, linked to their self-worth, and it's wrapped up into their results too much. Or they're trying to prove something to someone, or they're focusing on failure too much. What if it goes wrong? So everyone's got a reason, their own reason really, why they get nervous when they're in the lead and why they crumble, why they let it force them to crumble. So I just want to give you some broad highlights on what we can do in this scenario, right, when you're in that situation. First thing is, I've spoke about this before, and I believe it's on the website, on the downloads of the Race Driver Coach website, and it's called identity split. Because you, first of all, to change a behavior, like I'm not confident when I'm in the lead, to change that behavior, you've got to understand how you as an individual created that mindset of fear, of apprehension, of nervousness, because you're the one that really does create it. It's not the situation, it's how you see the situation, it's how you translate it, embody it, and swirl it all around in your body and your mind and say, this is what it means and this is how I feel about it. It's that process you need to take control of. So the identity split is, and I want you to download this on the website again, when you are absolutely in the zone, in the flow, feeling strong, feeling confident in the car and driving well, I want you to list out how you do that mentally. What is it you're thinking about? What are the actual thoughts that are in your mind? What are you saying to yourself? What are you focusing on? because you'll have a menu just of 2 or 3 or 4 things or ingredients, on this menu, on this recipe. You will have certain things in your mind that create confidence, and you'll run them over and over and over again because you're just on automatic pilot like all of us. And when you do run these thoughts and these perspectives of what you're actually seeing the world as, you'll feel confident. And your body, remember, it's always mind and body. What your mind is focusing on is half of an emotion. How you hold your body and breathe and facial expressions is the other half. So also, on that side of the page, I want you to write, these are the things I'm thinking of when I'm really on fire in the car. And this is how I'm holding my body. This is my muscle tension. This is my facial expression. This is my breathing. And you can name that person, the warrior that's in control when everything's going right and they are taking control of the situation. And you'll have there those ingredients on that recipe for confidence. And if you don't know, just imagine what you're doing. Try and remember when you were last confident and how you did it. And if when you're next confident, stop there. How am I creating this emotion right now called confidence? Because it's all self-created by you, by your thoughts and by how you're holding and operating your body. You've got a combination. And once you click into that combination, bang, you've got that emotion of confidence. On the flip side, you've got the opposite. When you're worrying in the lead, now tell me what your thoughts are. When it's all becoming too much, what is it I'm focusing on? And you write this down on the right-hand side of the page. On the side of the page where you say, right, this is the person who is a worrier. How do I create that? If I can create confidence, if I can create a loving feeling in my body, if I can create gratitude, I can also create worry, fear, stress. I am in control. How am I doing it? So what thoughts and what are you focusing on when you're in the lead? And also, how are you holding the body? What's your breathing like now? What's the temperature of your body like? How are you gripping the wheel? Facial expression, where are you looking? You will have a combination, a recipe again for creating fear, anxiousness, worry about being in the lead and being chased down. What you want is the person on the left. You want that person who's the warrior. But at the minute, you're operating this way. And you've got to find out why. But first, it is being aware. Understanding, first of all, obviously, understand that you're in control. Then secondly, okay, I'm going to be aware of how I'm doing this. And I'm going to paint it out. And I'm going to get very clear on how I am processing and creating worry and fear, nervousness. And I bet you're doing that in a lot of areas in life. When it gets really to a point where it's do or die. Failure is right there in the face. And that's how you run the process. Now, I want to give you a quick metaphor, should we say. Now, if you had a plank of wood going from one part of the Grand Canyon, one peak to another. So let's just say it's like 400 meters long, this thing, right? It's just a plank of wood. It's about twice the width of your foot, should we say. So you know you've got plenty of room either side of your foot, and you've got to walk that plank. And you can see the huge drop either side. And if you make one full step, you're dead, right? Now, there's a difference between someone who does that with confidence and someone who is shaking like a shitting dog because they're nervous so much, right? And it's all about how they see it, how they perceive what's going on, their process, their thoughts, and their body. Now, if you've got someone who's really good at walking the plank from one side to the other, most likely they'll be calm. They'll be focused on the objective of 1 foot at a time, nice breathing, and look to the end. Don't look down, look to the end, right? Very simple process. And the feeling of when I get to the other side, how amazing that feels. It's a personal achievement. That's the kind of person that's confident. Now, if you're looking at someone who can't do it, who's so nervous, who as soon as they get on, they are shaking, and they're taking forever, 1 step at a time. That's if they do it at all, because they're probably too scared to even go for it in the first place. And you ask them how they're translating it, perceiving this whole thing. What kind of thoughts are they going through and how they're holding their body? They will say, if I take 1 step wrong, I'm dead. This is the kind of thing they're thinking. What happens if the wind picks up? What am I going to do if I'm halfway through and it starts to shake? Who am I going to leave behind if I die? And they go into all these things, right? So there's a lot of thoughts here that create nervousness. And then their body's going to be tense. Then they are going to be shaking. They are going to be apprehensive. And they'll be looking down because they're so fearful of falling. They'll be looking at what they're scared of. And actually, most likely, they're going to fall. Or they'll freak out or they won't do it. This is very similar to leading a race. Somebody who's good at dominating at the front of the grid is the kind of person that, just like that person walking the plank, is focused on the future, ahead, what they want, not what they don't want. People attacking them from behind and dive bombing them and having a crash and worrying what people are thinking. No, this is what I need to do. Just like they were in qualifying. Coming to turn one, I know where to brake. I know exactly where to turn, even though you don't normally have a turning point. I know I need to get on the throttle all in one go. I need to rotate and go. And they're keeping very in the moment and a little bit in the future. That's what they do when they're walking the plank. That's what they do when they're leading a race. I am going to start. I'm going to have a demon first lap. I'm going to do 4 qualifying laps in a row. And then I'll look up to see where everyone else is in my mirrors. I just want to get out of there. Start on the light, go. And they keep it very simple, right? And when they're actually driving, it always is. Mind on the next corner. My mind is on the next braking point. Have a quick check in the mirrors to see if there's any defending needed. No? Right. Forward, 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 forward. Next, next, next. And they keep there. Because they want to drive fast. They want to win the race. They're thinking about winning the race at the end. How great it will be. Let's go. Somebody who's fearful of leading a race is, again, oh man, they're thinking things like, I had a bad start last time. I hope I don't get a bad start this time. If I mess up again, so-and-so is going to think bad of me. My dad, my team, my girlfriend, boyfriend, whoever, my mom. They're going to start to lose belief in me. I'm worried about that person behind me getting past because I hate them. Or you've got your identity so wrapped up in your results that you think you're only worthy, you're only as valuable, and your worth is only as good as your results. So if I win, I'm better than everyone. If I lose, they're better than me, even though I know they're not. And that creates fear. If you put so much emphasis on the position, on the lap time, you will not be able to flow because you're too busy checking in with your ego to see, am I happy or not? What does this mean? Is this threatening my ego? How's my reputation going to be after this? My identity? And if you play that game, you're never going to win. I mean, you'll win, but never long term. It's not a champion's mindset. It's not a warrior's mindset. They don't worry so much about the result. Instead, they worry more about executing. So when you're in the lead, you say, right, I've got a clear track. I've got permission now to lay it down. I've got permission to do 4 qualifying laps in a row and just go as fast as I can and lead the race. It's just to dominate. I just want to destroy everybody. If you go there with that kind of intention and all you're focused on is the next corner, this is one big step towards you doing it. But it is, as I say, this is only surface stuff. Can't really answer your problem without knowing something might have happened in your childhood that makes you want to get the results to prove that you're worth more than people have told you in the past. This could be so deep, the reason why you are not at your best when you're leading a race. Maybe you haven't won yet, and it's like that thing that I haven't done yet, so it's building up, the pressure is. But at the end of the day, all you've got to do is help the mind focus on what it needs to focus on in order to drive a fast lap. It never changes. That's in practice, qualifying, race. Look, mind, I know you can go all over the place and have worries, and you can go down this avenue of thinking, and it can completely destroy our day. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to help you. I'm going to help you focus on what's next, the next corner. And we're going to try and keep it there the whole race. Now, if you do this next time, you start confident, you get to like lap 7, and then you start to worry about things. So you only lasted 7 laps confident and the rest you didn't. That's still a step forward. That's enough information, enough intel for you to say, start of the race, I was thinking this, this, and this, and I was holding my body this way. But then after lap 7, I started to look in my mirrors more. I started to think, oh, that's car number 7, and I don't like him or her, and it goes down that road. And you start to see how you create fear. And then you start to make mistakes, you start to get a bit out there. This is self-discovery. For you to lead a race is basically you going out there and driving, but because you can't, it's something to do with your ego. The mind is stopping you. We need to find this out. So you become aware, like I say. Now, there's another quick technique, just to run you through before I take too long, on resetting. It's just resetting your mind. So as soon as you start to find out that, or feel that you're starting to get worried, it could be lap 7, lap 6 or whatever, or even at the end of the first lap, and you start to have that fear, you start to thinking, you start to focus on things that are not helping you. When you cross the start finish line, I want you to take a deep breath in, breathe out and smile, and then tell yourself what you've got to do next for turn 1. And it'll be braking, right? So, right, where's the braking point? This is breaking the habit. So if you get into a thought train of being, self-sabotaging and creating fear within you, you break that by changing your body a little bit, sit a tiny bit more upright in the seat if the seatbelts will let you. Do like a power move. So that could be a deep breath in. Breathe out with a big smile on your face, and you can say yes. You can literally say that word. Right, next turning point or next braking point, where is it? You can say that out loud, because that's going to break your pattern. Because you've been like in the car wrestling and you're starting to worry and you're starting to focus on things. No, bring yourself back into the now. What have I got to do next? And you do something with your body and your mind to break that pattern. And we mentioned this in the ABC, right? I'll do the ABC again. It's a mental technique that I spoke about probably in season 1, ages ago. But that's part of it. It's break the cycle that your mind is going on at this moment and give it something it can really get its teeth into. Something practical like, a breaking point. And you tell the mind just to focus on that. Where is it? There it is. Straight away, it starts to focus on the driving again and not the situation you're in. And you got to keep it there. So if you have to refresh every single time you get on a straightaway or a straight line, guess the American's coming out, or the start finish line, do it. You just treat your mind like a dog. As soon as it starts to run haywire, you slap it down, check its chain, focus on this. Then you can start to control yourself. Now we're asking the brain to control itself. This is how confusing it can be. But let me just say, you are in control. If you want to be confident, you just have to focus on the right things, have the right thoughts that take you down that way, what you're focusing on, and have the body that says it, and watch out for that. Make sure that person is in the car at the start of the race. Lights go out, you just go.